Guys, we're back now. We've got two teams, as you can see. You got our team to the left, right? Your left. Got team to the other side. Right? We're going to go out on the field. And as these guys are playing, we're going to watch. We're going to talk about a couple of them as we see them and what we're looking at. And then we'll just kind of flow it from there. And that way you guys can now, start developing making your decision process, right? As you can see, we've got some guys that are, if you look at some of them are pretty heavily equipped. Some of them are really lightly equipped. Some of them have almost everything. Some of them have next to nothing. So we're going to see how all of these kind of start playing and working for these guys as they play, all right? So just get a feel, pay attention to what you're seeing, It's the details that you see that make the difference in the good effective battle and problematic for them as they play, all right? So keep an eye out for all of that. All right, so we'll see you right there. We'll start back up out in the middle of the gameplay.
We have the drugs, our objectives.
All right, guys, we're right in the middle of it right now. There's a game going on all around us, all right? We're not actively participating, so
our team, are you set?
There's a good chance I might get shot accidentally, but we're going to try and work this out. All right, come on over here. I want you guys to get a good example right here. Keep doing your thing. All right, okay. All right, you got, I want you guys to look at the way he's got his gear set up. We're going to look at a couple pros and cons here of what we see. We got gear sitting up nice and high, easy accessibility to everything we got here. It's not too cluttered up right here, and he's clear on his sides for the most part. All right. As you guys can see, we got his communications is up front, but it's up and away, so there's nothing to really get in the way. You just want to be careful with the way your wires and communication run as they're on your equipment, so it's not getting all over you. Spare mag is running down along the side of the leg right here. This is a good place to do it, but then you got to remember the travel distance it takes to reach to get down to your mags. All right.
Only do this if you have long arms.
There you go. If you got long arms, it's good for you. Also, be careful with the way it sits.
Yeah.
You don't want it too loose because then you get that sloshing back and forth in your gear. But it's not a bad position. I've seen a lot of guys run it. Sometimes it just kind of clutters up your legs a little bit, but keep that in mind. You got your dump pouch going in the back right here. Remember that with your dump pouches that you're using them properly. Okay. Make sure one, you can get to them, and two, you use them accordingly. If they get too full, they start to rattle around. They can also get caught up on stuff. So be careful when you're choosing to use one of those. Got an administrative pouch out here in the back. Not too bad, nice and tight. Place for comms if we wanted to switch there. I would consider this a little more of an ideal position. But if you're in a game like this one sometimes, where comms are being switched, in front is exactly where it's a little more necessary and to take into consideration, all right? Remember that and take that all into account.
Hey Merlin, I think we got everything locked
one thing
down.
I'd tell you guys to be careful with is that grenades and stuff like this loose, be careful with those because you might lose those in a bounce. All right, so keep that in mind when you're looking at it. And he's got a single point sling going to his weapon right here, going down around his neck, so he can easily transition, push it to his back, getting to his sidearm, which is secured on a leg holster. Once again, remember that when your arm sits down, that you're right on top of your weapon, ready to use it. All right, there you go, no problem right there. If you have to reach down and you got to get to your weapon, then it's not in an effective position. Overall, we're talking about a good complete battle package here. Right, tweaks here and there, but overall, very much ideal. I'd give it a good 8 out of 10. Just if I was to quickly summarize and throw it together, not bad, not perfect.
Copy that.
When is it ever perfect? But definitely it fits the situation and the conditions of the battle that we got going right here. All right, so let's move on to somebody else.
Copy that.
All right, guys, we're right in the middle of it right now too. We pushed up right onto the front of the battlefield lines. I brought us here, and I like this position because we got 3 different guys set up right here. We can take a look at 3 different options for you guys to take a look at. Once again, up front, we're looking at a light chest rig. All right, same issues before. Great platform. The execution of it. You got to remember to keep those pouches accessible for your ammo right there. Overall, his setup is very light, very nimble. As you can see, it's very maneuverable, and you want to keep that in mind. He is wearing it a little higher up than the last guy that we showed with a chest rig. So now he's got a little more maneuverability and accessibility. It doesn't flap as much, so that's always good to have. All right, take a look over here.
There are 2 guys right in front of us. On. What?
You look right here. We got a saw gunner right here. All right, he's made himself a little more minimalistic. He's got his vest. Minimal pouch is set up. He's got his helmet to protect him. With a saw gunner and heavy weapons, position, it's kind of a little harder sometimes to decide what makes good gear, what you should wear on your vest, what you shouldn't wear on your vest. In short games like this, and at a local field, your one drum is enough to last you the iteration. But think, when you're thinking big ops, maybe it's a good idea you should have an extra drum or two, okay? And that's when they go on your vest at that point. If you're a saw gunner, I always recommend that you have M4 mags, because a lot of your saws take M4 mags as an emergency, and it basically makes you an ammo bearer for your team. So it's very, very effective, and it's very important to have that option, okay? So don't discount that as oh, I have heavy weapons, I can't carry M4 mags. Everybody can carry M4 mags or the mags of the team in order to be effective and help each other out as they need it. But he's got his good setup right here, so that's pretty good. Especially with all the extra weight of the weapon, you do want to keep it minimalistic and easy to maneuver with. All right, so keep that in mind. Also, he's wearing his vest, nice up and high. It's nice form fitting. Sometimes when you get with these big bulky vests, especially if you're a small guy, they hang down and sag a little too much. It can hinder your movement. But as you see, look at him, he's getting down, moving around pretty good. He's even got the shoulder, the upper arm pads, but he's still maintaining incredible flexibility, which is really good, and we always want to see that. All right. Let's see who else we can find right here. We got some other guys. All right. Follow right over here.
Right here? Yeah. Watch the brush.
All right. All right. We got a couple guys over here.
Hey, you got a location on the enemy?
All right. Let's look at this guy right here. All right. We got a nice, good basic loadout here. I want you guys to take into consideration when choosing and deciding your equipment modularity. Sometimes these preset made vests that have the pouches are already on it. This one doesn't. This one is modular, but they come also in a version where the pouches can't be removed. If you look over here, his pouches can't come off and they're preset. All right, that's going to hurt his modularity for the change of mission, but it is extremely effective and it's all ready to go there for you. Let's come back over here. This guy is using a similar system, but his pouches are modular. So now he can transition, change his gear, mission as needed for the mission, fix, it can work for what he needs. All the essentials are here. I like this setup right here. We got your hydration on the back, you got your communications. I would prefer to see communications kind of move somewhere a little more optimal. You got your dump pouch. As you can see, he's got all his, sorry, stuck myself. He's got his mag pouch straight across the front right there. Easily, quickly accessible right on him. Communications is up high. He can't accidentally hit his push to talk because he was fumbling around with his gear. No, it's right there, discriminate out of the way. Same thing, he's wearing his headset so he can communicate. Weapon ready to go. He's got his gloves, and gloves are always a good idea. I see so many guys that don't wear gloves. I'm not wearing any right now, but I should be. Because you can catch a lot of rounds in the knuckles, so really keep those into consideration. He's good. He's set for his prone, comfortable. His gear isn't lagging down really low and sagging on him. If I tug on it, it's all part of him. See, it's not flopping around on him. Nothing that I touch on him flops around. So it keeps him good and combat effective. All right. Keep that into consideration when you're picking your gear.
Push up, take that brush line back.
Good, tight, comfortable fit like that can make a huge difference in how you wear your stuff. All right.
Go back, get down.
All right, let's pull out of here.
Don't fall back. Hold the brush line.
All right, fire got a little intense here, so I got to throw a red rag on so nobody shoots at me. I should have probably not been wearing gear, but I wanted you guys to see me move around in it, while you're doing this. But we got another 2 players up here. We're gonna follow them a little bit, and then we're gonna try and talk about their stuff when they sit down. So let's move along together with them. Oh, my cameraman's a lot braver than I am. So we got 2 guys right here. All right. Now notice as we got these guys moving right here, they're both wearing pretty light setups right now. Our front guy right there is wearing a chest rig. Keeps his back clear, but you can see his waistline is pretty clear except for a canteen. All right, let's see if we can get a closer look. All right. See, he's got his back is nice and clear. He's got his hydration. But he's got his weapon nice and centered in front of him. He's wearing a standard chest rig pretty much. He's got going right there. Pouch is all in front of him. As you can see, some of his pouches are closed. I want you guys to remember that when you're in action and things are going pretty fast and things are happening fast and shots are being fired back and forth, you want to be easily accessible to these these mags right here. If your pouches are all closed, it can slow you down. Let's see if we can circle around, get a better angle. Alright, so as you can see, like I said, all his pouches right there, they're closed up right now. I want you guys to remember too.
Oh, you got eyes on?
They're sitting down right here, and they're clamped right here. If they're clamped, you can't get to them more effectively. We want to push the system up a little bit. You can cinch it up tighter, right on your head, right up on your chest, excuse me, and it's like right here, a little more accessible. But overall, it's not bad setup right here. We got great rig right here. Keeps them sleek and comfortable on both sides. The problem is accessibility is where you can be hurt a little bit. So keep that in mind, especially when you're in a hot situation and there's a lot of fire going all over the place like we are right now. Reloading can be slowed down a bit, especially when you got deep pouch pockets, okay? So even my vest has flaps, right? So instead of keeping my mags like that where I gotta fight, access, you know, simply just take your pouch cover, shove that sucker right in there, boom, mag's completely accessible. And you're not fumbling around with buckles, trying to get it opened up and access to it. Alright, so keep that in mind. You want all those things to be kept in mind as you're deciding and choosing, you know, how to wear your gear. Alright, let's move on to somebody else. I will say that I'll give that one, I'll give it a 6-7 out of 10. And it's not because it's a bad rig. It's not at all. It's actually a really good setup. I use a similar chest rig sometimes too. But it's the execution of your equipment. You can have the best gear in the world, but if you're not careful in how you use it, your equipment, it's no longer effective. All right. So let's move on to somebody else and see what we can find. All right, guys. Well, we saw already, I think, 5-6 different setups. As you guys can see how things feel, move around. Different guys wearing different things. Thinking about your pros and cons about your gear, okay? Remember, sometimes less is more, especially for you snipers and you heavy weapons gunners. Up high, tight, easy accessibility, positioning, your ability to maneuver, all right? Keep all these things into consideration, and I hope seeing a lot of these rigs in action and seeing the way guys move around in it, and in our chat before, really helps you guys out and making those good decisions, all right? So this is Javier, Dark Horse, signing out from the front lines right now, guys. Talk to you later.